Thank you. Can I share something with you to start with? Would that be okay? Thank you. So Rosie Davoli, or Davoli, I think is the way to pronounce it. She runs a yoga studio in Adelaide, one of my customers. She was once every month or 2 months sending a newsletter, putting in as much information as she possibly could because she thought that was the right way to do things. Who's guilty of that? Some of us, thank you. Very little engagement outside the yoga studio. So in the yoga studio, she runs her business right. You know, she gets engagement in the studio, she says the right things to move to have a good customer base. But very little engagement outside of there. No engagement on her emails, and you know, as a result, no engagement on her marketing. So low sales, doing the right thing in, but you know, a bit of retention was a problem as well. So we introduced regular content videos and emails. So once a fortnight, Rosie would pick a pain point: sore neck, sore knee, sore back, you know, one of those pain points, and she would create a video. These are the 3 exercises that you need to do for a sore lower back. Does that make sense? It's a literal pain point, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And we would send regular content videos and emails, just like that. We introduced a new lead induction process. How many times have you gone to a gym, for example? Any of us gone to a gym in the room? A few of us, thank you. And I know it was a bit of a joke yesterday, but you go to a gym, and the first time you go to a gym, I experienced this, maybe everyone else doesn't, but first time in a new gym, I put off going. I put off going again. And I put off going again until my head is in exactly the right space. Because it's like, what goes through my head is, where am I going to get changed? Where do I put my bag? Where am I going to put my towel? Where's this instrument? Where's that instrument? You know, when do the class starts? Where do I stand before the class starts? You know, where do I stand in the class? All of this goes through my head. Anyone else like that? One of us, okay. Thank you for sharing, or a few of us. And so we introduced a new lead induction process. Before someone comes into the gym, or before someone comes into the yoga studio, there's 5 videos showing them, oh, hi, this is Rosie. We're down here at the studio, and it's just with a selfie stick. Down here at the studio, and when you come in, this is the area where the classes are. Change rooms are over there, and you're going to be greeted by our, you know, smiling faces. You know, something like that. First video. Second video is when you come in for your class, you know, everyone usually gathers over here. It doesn't really matter. Grab yourself a mat. Grab yourself one of the boxes. I don't know what they're called, yoga thing. They're square boxes, really. Yoga block, thank you, and get yourself ready. We'll start to do stretches, you know, shortly after the class starts. That sort of thing. 5 videos to introduce people into the business. Who has that in their business right now? Paintball. You should be doing it in yours as well. Make the process, you know, start them, engage them in the process before they get there. New customer induction process, same process. Purchase, nurture process. When someone buys from the yoga studio, what's that called? A yoga block. 14 days, 7 emails, 7 videos teaching them the best exercises to do with the yoga block. When someone buys tomatoes, 14 days, 7 videos, 7 recipes, the best recipes to use your tomatoes for. You know, it just adds a little bit of value, doesn't it? And we get to nurture after that purchase process. We get to follow up with them with those recipes. Pain points, nurture and exercise. When someone's in the class and they say, oh, goodness, I've got a sore back, or I've got a sore chest, or, you know, something like that, or my elbow's really sore. Rosie would go at the end of the class, she'd remember who that person was, and she'd go over and tick a box. They use MindBody, we sync it to Infusionsoft. Tick a box in there to say a sore elbow. And then there'd be 7 days of exercises and SMSs about, you know, sore elbow or sore neck. The best one is office body stress, I think it was. And if anyone's got a sore neck and sore shoulders from sitting at a desk like this all day, tick that box. And there's an email that goes out at 11:45. These are the exercises you should be doing. Who does that? Who sits at a desk all day? 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you're like this, aren't you? What do you think we did at 3 o'clock in the afternoon? We sent an SMS saying, you're hunching over at your desk right now, you need to sit up straight, you need to get up, take a walk and do your 3 exercises again. Just nurture them. Does that make sense? Think about the problems that your customers are having and when they're having them, and send them a communication right there and then. Okay, and so we also introduced an irresistible offer, a low entry point to get people to come along. And fundamentals program was the introductory offer. In yoga, I don't know much about yoga, but I do know that I don't know much about it. And I don't know what benefits it have. I don't know how to do the exercises. I don't know any of that stuff. So for me, a fundamentals program is good. It's like an introductory program. It's cheap. It gets me going, and then I learn how to do it. 28-day challenge we introduced. And the results. So email engagement was up by over 50% just from sending out the regular content emails, but also from sending out those series based around people's pain points and problems. It's very easy to do this in this sort of environment, and also in the health environment as well. The studio engagement increased as a result of the content and the value that we were sending out to the database. Yogis were talking more about the content yogis. I always cringe when I hear that word. Has anyone used the term before, yogis? In yoga, that's what they call each other. Like the yogis are the people that come along to yoga studios. It didn't sink in my head for a while. And then the email responses were up as well. So people were replying to the emails that were being sent out, saying, this is really good. Actually, can you help me further with blah, blah, because I'm having problems with that as well. Does that make sense? So that interaction with our customer went from down here, only interacting in the yoga studio, outside of the studio, then it went to up here because people were engaging with the emails. Who wants that in their business? Let's look more at the results. So the best part, recurring membership increased by over 450%. Who wants that in their business? Yeah. Time spent on billing reduced by over 50%. So we also introduced automatic ongoing membership billing. They were manually processing payments every single month. They were manually following up with their customers every single month. I bet there's some people in the room that are doing that right now as well, though. Be honest? No one? Yeah, one, thank you. Get them into a membership. Get their payments going automatically. You could have a fruit and veggie club. Sorry, my mind goes off on tangents all the time. I get HelloFresh. Has anyone heard of HelloFresh? Yeah, you get a recipe, you get all of the ingredients, it all comes in a little bag and a little fridge pack, and you put one on the shelf in the cupboard, you put one on the shelf in the fridge. I'm so anal, I line them up. This shelf, and they line up. So I just take this, and then go and make the recipe. You could do similar with your fruit and veg. You could have fruit and veg packs that are like a membership. What do you need? You need 7 bananas, you need 4 tomatoes, 10 apples, all of that sort of thing, and it's a regular thing that gets delivered every single week. Time spent on billing reduced by over 50%. Getting people onto a recurring membership in your business is one of the best things that you can do. But not one where we automatically send out an invoice every month and they've got to pay that. You want to be processing their credit card details up front, straight away, okay? So, just on the email side of things, what sort of results should you be looking at? Before we go into the results, I want to do an exercise. So if you can turn to this page in your book that looks like this. We're just going to take 5 minutes here and go to this page. I want to go through what you should be sending out as content. So it says on there, the top line is a problem that your customers are having. Now I'm going to give you an example, and then you're going to do this for your business. So one of the problems that my customers are having is their leads are falling through the gaps, okay? So that's a problem my customers are having. And then the pain points around those problems would be wasted money on wasted marketing. Okay, first one. Are you worried about not knowing where to find your leads, let alone knowing how to follow up with them, is another one. Yeah, so not knowing where to follow up with them. Not knowing how to follow up with them, wasted money on wasted marketing. Can't grow your business if all the leads are falling through the gaps. Make sense? Yeah. That's why you can't grow your business, literally why you can't grow your business. So there's an example of 3 right there that is my business, not your business, but my business. So what I want you to do for now is write down the 5 problems that your customers could be having, and then write down 5 pain points around each one of those problems. If anyone wants to share their first problem, we can workshop the pain points around that. Who's got a problem for me? Yep. Staying organised while travelling. So these are, your target market is truck drivers and bus drivers and train drivers, is that right? So staying organised while travelling, what's a pain point around that? Are you worried that you're not going to get yourself organised? Is it so much preparation time? Is it stressing you out that you're not organised enough to stay in contact with your family? You know, is there... See where we're going with this? Yep. Another problem for me? Yep. The organiser collecting deposits is a problem that your customers are having. So how do we educate around the organiser collecting deposits? People don't care about rewards now. So a problem that your customer is having is sounds like you need to target a little bit better market there, if that's their problem. But so your customers don't want to process a deposit up front. So, yep. Yep. Right. What do you think their pain points around that are? Why don't they want to? They don't want to be out of pocket, so that's a pain point. What's another pain point around that? They don't want to talk about money with their friends. Yep. What's another one? I like that one. I like that one a lot. Yeah, maybe you could implement something like, you know, PayPal has the split bill system. All of those, I'm not familiar with those, but implementing some sort of split bill system in there. But that's the solution we're looking at right now. Some other pain points around that. What are some other reasons why someone may not want to put a deposit? They're unsure if they want to go ahead. You know, they're unsure if the rest of their group actually want to commit to that date. So there's some pain points around that. And I'm going to go into the solutions for you here as well because it sort of ties it in. You know, you could have a video that goes out. When someone opts in or secures a date, you could have a video that goes out about how easy it is to split the bill. Or how easy it is to have the conversation with your friends. You know, you might have to do a little bit of work in the beginning, but you could create some content about the conversations that people can have with their friends to secure them in, and the reasons why. These are the reasons why we need to secure it. And the first one might be, if you don't book it in now, you're not going to get the date. Yep. Yep. What's the bonus? Discounted entry and a bonus 100 paintballs. It's clearly not enough value. You know, the perceived value of that is not big enough for them to motivate and pay up front. There could be more value in pushing that, securing the date side of things in there, but also if you educate them in the tools that they can use to communicate with their friends. You know, what generation is that you're marketing to? Why? No, it's millennials. Yeah, so they don't communicate very well at all, I found, unless they're communicating in. Yep. What if you had a text? We're solving a bigger problem here, but there could be a text process that sends a message to all of their friends saying, "Okay, you've been allocated to this group for paintball, and we need to split the bill. We need to pay a deposit to secure the date. You know, all of that sort of thing." You know. Opt in their SMS. Yeah, that's cool. Yep. Put a video in there maybe as well as to why, the reason why we're paying a deposit, the reason why we need to secure this now, how much fun it's going to be, you know, that sort of stuff. That's a bit of an outside-the-box problem there, but you need to educate, basically, and educate in a big enough reason why they need to do it. And I guess in your case, you'll be looking at the reasons why they're coming along to paintball in the first place. Yeah, so that's an interesting problem. Yep. Yeah, some sort of interactive process where they all get in there, but it's more than that. It's even just that first deposit. The one person who's making the booking is not prepared to take responsibility for everyone else at that point in time, are they? It could be 100% refundable, or it could be refundable within 7 days. Secure your date now, or something like that. Yep. Yep. Right. Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. So you guys can maybe connect later. Would it be okay if we go into someone else's problem now? Yep. Up the back. Yep. Not knowing where they're at in their business. What's some pain points around that? Cash flow. Don't know if they're growing properly. Don't know how they're going to pay the bills. Don't know how they're going to pay their staff. What taxes? Don't know. Yep. So there's a lot of stress that goes on with that, isn't it? Isn't there? You know, a lot of stress around those pain points, around those problems. So just pause there just for a minute. Stop writing down your problems and pain points for a minute. When you do those 5 and those 5, okay, there's 25 things that you've got written down there. They are 25 items of content that you can create a solution for. Give me one of those. Tell me that one again. So it was not knowing where they're at in the business. Do you know, and you don't even know how you're going to get the money to pay your staff next week? Yeah? So there's one problem, one pain point that you can provide a solution for, can't you? What's that solution? Could you spend 3 to 5 minutes recording a video, teaching people the things that they need to think about to make sure that they know that stuff? There you go, there's a piece of content for you. Yep. Anyone else? Anyone else want to share one of their problems? What about this table over here? You've been quiet, except for the fruit and veg. Oh, so you're real estate, aren't you? Really cool thing you can do with real estate is, as you say, market update videos, auction close rates, and make it regular. Make it Auction Friday or something like that, and so people can look forward to it and get that information out there every single week. You know, the end of the month, you can look at the close rates or something like that and keep it regular, or the RBA rates, that sort of thing. So each one of these problems, each one of these pain points becomes a solution that you can provide to nurture your database. Does that make sense? No? Thank you, thank you. So I'm just going to quickly put up some stats up here of what you need to be aiming for. On your open rate, the average is about 28%. If you're not getting 28%, you're sending out crap to the database. Okay? Or you're sending a lot of emails to people that aren't opening and reading them, and it's affecting your deliverability. Okay? So, we can actually aim towards 50% open rate on our emails, and I'll show you how to do that shortly. So we can increase our open rate by using subject, preview text, content and segment, split test, and list hygiene, cleaning up our database. So I'll just put those back up there for you if you want to. Well, I'll send you the slides so that you don't need to write all of those down. So now our click-through rate, when someone's clicking through to our content, okay, the average is between 1 to 5%, but we can increase this. I want you to aim towards 5 to 10% click-through rate on your content, okay? And the only way we do this is send out regular, good quality content to our database. Solutions to our contacts' problems will get people clicking through. Sales emails won't get people clicking through. Even if they're used to you sending them sales emails all the time, you start sending content and you'll start getting more engagement with your database. So we can increase it by the right words. In our emails, we need to present a problem, we need to agitate the problem, and then we need to give them the solution. And the solution is clicking through to watch the video, clicking through to read the article. The problem is, are you worried about not following up with all your leads in your business? You know, do you find yourself wasting money on marketing? Click here now to watch a short video on 3 techniques that you can use to make sure you follow up with every lead in your business. Does that make sense? Problem, agitate, solution, and people will click through. One problem, one solution, one call to action in the email. Click here now to watch the video. You could click here, or you could do this, or you could do that. Confuses, okay? One problem, one solution, one call to action. Most important in our emails. As soon as you give choices in an email, people don't take action. Relevance, segmentation, we'll go through that shortly. Call to action, precedent or reward. If people are rewarded from getting good quality content every time they email, they won't even read the email, they'll click through to the content. But if they're not rewarded by getting good quality content, you've got to work a little bit harder. So now the unsubscribe rate, these are the 3 important rates: the open rate, the click-through rate, the unsubscribe rate. The average is around 0.25%. You want to aim to be under that, otherwise sometimes you get alerted. Infusionsoft, if you're above that, alerts your account. You know, you go on red alert if your unsubscribe rate or your spam report rate is high. And the others will do it as well, just not so openly. If you want to decrease it, don't send so much crap. Don't send so many newsletters, send content. Don't send so many sales emails, send content. When someone clicks on the content, then you send the sales email afterwards. Best practice. Make it relevant, segment and relevant. Someone signs up for a fruit salad over here, but they click on apples. Send them more information about apples. You know, if someone signs up for accounting information and they click through on stuff that's about cash flow, send them more information about cash flow, the stuff that they're interested in. Does that make sense? Yep. And you haven't been emailing them. Get out. No, just teasing. If you haven't been doing it, what do you think you need to do? Start doing it. We call it a re-engagement sequence, and you're going to have a minimum of 3 emails day after, okay? Probably 4 emails. The first one is an apology email. Look, I haven't done you a good service, so I'm committing to do it better now. And have a little bit of connection in there. Put a photo of you with your family, photo of you with you. I put in a photo of me with my dogs. You know, I've got 3 dogs. One of them is about this big. She's crazy. And it just gives a connection. You know, it gives a little bit of personality into there that they don't get. You do get that when you shake hands. Yeah, there's a little bit of personality that you can get face-to-face that you can't get online. So put a bit of personality into that first email. Second email is tip number 1. Third email is tip number 2. Fourth email is tip number 3. Re-engage them. Start sending them some good quality stuff. Preset it though. Apologise. Take responsibility. You know, everyone's human. And unless you're in medical, you're expected to be superhuman if you're in medical. But if you're in any other business, you're expected to be human, and being human in your emails will get a better response. Yep, so you can do that this week. Yeah. Yeah. So 4 emails. Email 1 is about apologies, I'm committing to do better, and then 3 content emails after that. And set a scene of what you're going to do beyond this. From now on, we're going to send you regular content emails every 2 weeks, or whatever it's going to be, and then do it. Yep. Good question. So does anyone have any questions about those problems and those pain points? Maybe in the lunch break you can keep jotting them down. Would that be okay? So I want 5 problems, 5 pain points. That's 25 items of content. If you're sending broadcasts to your database every 2 weeks, that's a year's worth of content. Make sense? So make sure you finish that exercise. Make sure you finish it. So now let's look at the 5 proven strategies to help you get more engagement in your business. Who wants some more strategies? Thank you. So the first one is personalise. We went through this a little bit, and I'm just going to do a quick share on this one. Sorry, I'm running a little behind. Melbourne Osteopathic Clinic, one of my, I've got a brand called Clinic Connect, and it connects some software called Clinico to Infusionsoft, and we cross-promote between the two. And Melbourne Osteo is one of them that we introduced. Similar things to the yoga studio. So what they were doing, once a month they were sending a newsletter. And it was just like every other osteo was doing. You know, they go to a service, the accountants do this all the time as well, and bookkeepers. They go to a service, they buy newsletters, and mortgage brokers and sometimes real estate agents do it as well. They go to one service, they all buy the same newsletter, they send it onto their database. Sometimes they let the service send the stuff onto the database, and everyone's getting the same email, the same content from everyone else, and no one's standing out, okay? That's what these guys were doing. They were spending a lot of money on pay-per-click advertising, a lot of Google, a little bit of Facebook, and they were getting some results from it. Little email engagement though. From their newsletters that they were sending out, it's no surprise, they were getting about a 5% read rate. So we introduced no more newsletters, cut them out straight away. We stopped all advertising. We did regular content videos and emails, pain points, literal pain points, got a sore knee, got a sore back, same thing as the yoga studio. This is going on like this, I can't get out of it. And so we introduced those. When someone, ready, I don't know why I've got ready in there. When someone clicked through, it showed that they were interested in that problem. And so then we send a series of extra content about that problem afterwards. Okay, so we do a broadcast to the database about runner's knee problems. Someone clicks through, then we send them all of these exercises they can do about runner's knee afterwards. Does that make sense? We gave them more on the topic. We introduced, when someone had a literal pain point, someone's got a sore knee and they come in for a session, we click a box, and then they get exercises about knees, similar to the yoga studio. We tag them into an email campaign about that pain point and that exercise. In Clinico, they click a box and it syncs them across to Infusionsoft and sends the stuff out. What I'm going to do for you is I'm going to send you this stuff. You know, your accounting practices, you can do this all the time. You can do this with heating and air conditioning. What I'm going to do for you is I'm going to send you a series of emails and videos about what you need to do to maintain your air conditioner. Would that be okay? And say that, would that be okay? And they're like, oh yeah, that'd be great actually, because I can't remember anything that you just told me, and you just told me, right there and then. And so you get to nurture those customers after they're a customer as well, and wow them a little bit more. Monthly events around community sporting groups. So we did, they did my swimming club as the first one, and we had some Olympic swimmers come in and do some coaching clinic for a weekend, and then Melbourne Osteo came in and they did a stretching session. And so Lauren, her name was, I haven't got my phone, got her phone. Hi, it's Lauren here from Melbourne Osteo, and we're down here at the Masters Swimming Club, and they were doing this coaching session. We've got all of these Olympic coaches down here, and the 3 problems that we find at Melbourne Osteo, that swimmers have, aging swimmers, masters swimmers have, are number one, they get this shoulder problem because they're always turning their arm in. Number two is they get a sore neck here and they can't lift their head up, and they shouldn't be anyway. And number three is whatever number three was. And then the three exercises you can do is make sure you're doing these shoulder shrugs, make sure you're doing these stretches, so forth and so on. That's a broadcast to the database about the stuff that they were doing at the clinic. Does that make sense? So it's pitching them as an expert about swimmers when they're not allowed to pitch, they're not allowed to say, hey, we're an expert in swimmers, but it's pitching them that way. And then for everyone that clicked through, we send them an email afterwards that says, hey, I noticed that you clicked on our information about swimmers and stretchers. Would it be okay with you if we put you into the series of exercises to help swimmers because you've shown an interest in that? Would that be okay? And yes or no, or just click on the button below if you're not interested in this. So we just assume that they're interested and we keep sending it to them. Does that make sense? So they've shown interest in it and then we send them some more content. And so the results, their email engagement was up by over 50% as a result of it. Actually, it was much more than 50%. Their email engagement now, their results are around 45 to 50% on their emails. The clinic engagement increase, this is the really cool thing. By sending out all this content, it's nurturing the customer or the patients while they're not even in there. Does that make sense? How many times have you been to an osteo and they say, okay, you need to do this stretch, you need to do that stretch, and you need to do this, and here, I'll jot it all down for you, and you walk out of there remembering the first stretch. You don't remember how many times you need to do it or how often. How many times? Anyone gone through that? Just me. Okay, a few of us, thank you. So we put them into a sequence so that they automatically remind them of the things that they should be doing every single day after that. Customers were talking more about the content. Email responses were up, and this is really cool. In the 8-week period from May 7, we had total patient numbers 177 plus across both clinics, with 2 weeks over 200, which is our weekly target. Easily our highest and most consistent 8-week period ever. They turned off, before this, they turned off all their pay-per-click. They turned off all of their marketing, and all we had running was the engagement series around, the pain points. And their visits went up. Is that what we want in our business? It doesn't happen straight away, it builds over time. But it will happen if you get this content out there. Really, really important. Okay? Make it personal. Segment the database. Okay? Let's segment, give people more of what they engage in, less of what they don't. If they don't click through to watch something, don't send them more about it. If they don't click through to watch something, don't send them a sales email about it. You with me? Less of what they don't. And for these guys, they were pitching themselves as experts because they were going off to these events. You accountants and bookkeepers, you could be doing this. Who else? What else have we got in the room? Paintball. You're an expert in paintball anyway, but you could be an expert in fighting or something like that. You could add some more interest to it, couldn't you? And have some fun with that as well. So we've got to segment the database. The people that take interest in something, send them more of that. Make sure you're doing this. The people that take interest in bananas, segment them as banana lovers. Because banana lovers don't like any other fruit. Maybe nectarines. No, I'm just being silly now. Give people more of what they engage in, less of what they don't. Personalize your message based on action or lack of action taken. Marketing segment. Give people... Market products based on what they engage in. Okay? Not everything is for everyone. But be really specific as well. If someone opts in about apples, don't send them oranges. Yep. Yep. Uh-huh. One thing generically to 10,000 people. Yep. Yep. Good question. Haven't got them categorized and you're wondering how. Yeah. So we've got this split system. Have we got a split system in here? No, we've got a split system up on the wall. We'll say, okay. And there's some maintenance that you can do for split systems, and one of them is making sure that you're cleaning your filter all the time. So get an email out to the database about cleaning the filter on your split system, and everyone that clicks, segment them. They've got a split system if they're clicking through. Make sense? And then automate the segmentation. When they click, you tag them and say these people are a split system or interested in split system. Do the same with a wall air conditioner. You know, if you've got a wall air conditioner, these are the 3 problems that we find with wall air conditioners, and these are the 3 things that you can do to make sure the longevity of the air conditioner. Everyone that clicks, they've got a wall air conditioner, or they might be thinking about getting one. They might be thinking about the problems. And then you can segment your database based on that. But make sure you're quite clear in your emails that go out that this is a problem about wall air conditioners. That make sense? Non-relevant information, yeah. You know what? Right now, you haven't been marketing to your database. So what you could do is you could do the email, and then have you got 5 different products that you service? Probably more, and you could choose the 5 top products that you service. So we're going to have a series about our 5 top products and how to maintain them well so you get the most value out of their life. And 1 is an air conditioner, 2 is a wall air conditioner, 3 is a wall heater, 4 is this, and you can service that all in a re-engagement campaign as well. Yep, good question. Running an event, send out some content based on what might be covered in the event. Little snippet of content about automation for this event. Those that show interest, those that watch the snippet about automation, say, hey, there's an event coming up. You can buy a ticket for whatever the price of the ticket is and send them along to a sales email, sales process about the event because we're going to cover automation in the event. Does that make sense? You will get higher read rate because they've shown interest. You'll get a higher conversion because they've shown interest in the original content email. They're engaged, market to them. I've got another share. Oh, this is really cool. This is very, very cool. I've got a customer and she teaches sales leaders and sales consultants how to be better at their job, basically. The same email series, but in the email series, like we're talking about for you over here, we had different items of content that were for sales leaders. We had different items of content that were for sales consultants. And then we had a question in one of the emails where we said, hey, are you a sales leader or a sales consultant? And we wanted to segment out the sales leaders. Everyone who didn't segment themselves as a sales leader stayed in the consultants email series. Those that identified then increased the read rates to 50 to 60%. Let's have a look at the stats. So here's the first email, 32% read rate. That's pretty good to start with already. This is a general email to both of them, 28%, 30%, all the while as people are clicking through, we're gathering information on who the sales leaders are. 28%, so still all pretty healthy. 26%. And then this one here, look at this. 58% read rate on this one. That was an email number 9 that was directly to the sales leaders about what they can be doing better rather than the general information. Does that make sense? See how that engagement has gone up? Because we're talking directly to that market. Bless you. And then email 10, directly to sales leaders as well. 61% read rate. Who wants that in their business? We all do. Segment, okay? Got to segment. So membership, anyone running a membership site? Okay, a few of us. You getting good engagement in your membership site? Yeah, no? Yep, yes and no. Okay, some tips. There are 3 key things to a successful membership site. Write these down. Oh, you don't have to, you're getting the slides. The first one is engagement, the second one is engagement, and the third one is engagement. No, seriously, the main thing you want in membership sites is engagement. You want community and you want follow-up. There's that dirty word. If someone's not engaged, we follow up with them. If they're not in the community, we follow up with them. Does that make sense? Yep. So engagement, a periodic course drip feed. Have you got this in your membership sites? So there's lesson number 1, week 1, lesson 1, week 1, lesson 2, week 1, lesson 3, and then week 2, and we get some more, the next batch of the course is released. If you send everything out at once, they will do nothing. If you send little snippets of information out on a drip feed, then you'll get a higher engagement. Regular content and training, coaching, so community. Yep. Daily video course, yep. Create urgency and scarcity, yep. Yep. Once a day, yep. Only have it available for 24 hours, yep. 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 Training them into it, yeah. You're doing half of my job for me. Yeah. The other thing you could do is, for those people that engage, they get rewarded. You know what, you've done this one, you can watch the next one. You've done this one, you can watch the next one, and reward them for their engagement, so it trains them into that reward. But the other thing you can do is, even though you're saying it's going to be taken down in 24 hours, if they don't click, you can send a follow-up email tomorrow, a follow-up email the next day, an SMS, and say, hey, what's going on? You're not watching the videos, you're not going to get value out of this. Does that make sense? So that's the bit that I would add in there, and that's the follow-up. So private Facebook group, coaching sessions, all of these should be in your memberships now, depending on the price, so that if you're getting face-to-face with those members, instead of just sending them off to a membership site, you're going to encourage engagement, okay? A weekly Zoom Q&A call. Engage the community. Follow-up. It's the one thing missing from most membership sites. We can all do a weekly Q&A call. We can all do a Facebook group and get engagement out of that. But most people are not following up with people that aren't taking action. If someone doesn't log in, if someone doesn't watch a video, just like you were saying there, we follow up with them and make sure everything's okay. You know, sometimes it's because they put their email address in wrong. So we send them an SMS, say, hey, what's going on? You haven't followed up. They reply and say, actually, I haven't received it. You know, then you can see that there's a problem there automatically. Does that make sense? Reward them when they do, like we were just saying in your scenario, automatically. They've watched this one, release the next one. They've watched that one, release the next one, and give them a reward for what they're doing, and then you'll train them into doing whatever you say, or whatever you request. So let's have a look at, there's no Julies and Bobs in the room, is there? Okay, good. So I come along to Julie's, I've got the wrong colour suit on today, haven't I? I come along to Julie's membership site, and I come along to Bob's membership site. And Julie sends me an email, a welcome email on registration, and then she sends me an email a day later, a content reminder, because I haven't watched. And then she sends me an email, you haven't logged in yet. And then she sends me another email, or maybe an SMS, or a phone call from Julie to check, is everything okay? Could be an SMS, could be an email, or something like that. And we set that up into the system automatically. Okay? Bob, on the other hand, Bob sends an email on registration. Which customer? Do you want to be a customer of Julie, or do you want to be a customer of Bob? Mm-hmm. You'll prefer to sign up to Bob's. Okay, good one, good one. Which business owner do you want to be? Do you want to be the one that lets someone wait until they're ready? Or do you want to be the one that encourages engagement so that we can keep them active in the community? Yep. Correct. Well, remember, it's not marketing. We're not marketing to them here, but yeah, communicate. So we're following up. We're following up to make sure they get the value out of what it is they've purchased from us, okay? And I know you're an exception to the rule. You know, who's had a gym membership and they haven't turned up for 3 weeks and they get an SMS and it says, hey, you should turn up to the gym, you haven't been here. Yeah, I get them all the time too. Yep, yep. And so it's like, oh, yes, I have to, I'm going to go tomorrow, and then you go to the gym. Who goes after those SMSs? Okay, 2 of us. Okay, that's at least 2 of us that are now becoming more engaged in the membership. Because what are they going to do? They're going to cancel. If they see the recurring price, on their credit card bill every single month, and they get to the end, it's like, oh, I don't go to the gym anymore. I'm not going to go. Or I'm not getting value out of this. I'm not going to pay for it anymore. And then they drop off. Yep. Yep. Uh-huh. Yep. 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 Drop them in. Yep. Yeah, this is a little bit, I understand where you're coming from. This is a little bit different. And I'm not saying every day. Well, I have said every day on the slide here, but you need to make it relevant to the membership site that it is and the training that's coming out. If people absolutely need this stuff in their business that you're giving them and they need it to stay on track, if you've got an 8-week program, for example, and it's the end of week 1 and they haven't even logged in yet, you're going to need to follow up with them to keep them engaged and make sure they're on track. If it's an email, if that's relevant in your business, good. If it's a call from you, if it's an SMS, hey, just checking everything's okay, you haven't logged in yet. It doesn't have to be, hey, get in there and log in now and do the work, but you can word it in a way that makes it personal because you know what they've done, and that's more about what it needs to be rather than just an email. Hey, get in there and do this. Get in there and do this. Get in there and do this. It's like, I've noticed you haven't done this. Is everything okay? Do I need to help you some more? That sort of communication. Does that make sense? Yep. But if it's if it's a membership for a piece of software, then I would do much less than this. But this is more about membership sites for coaching someone to an end goal. So Julie and Bob again. There's me. My hand in my pocket. So registration for the training, an email to register. And then an email to reminder, if we've got weekly training and you haven't registered for the weekly training, what are you going to do? Automatically follow up with them. Yep. And then if they haven't registered, then you're going to manually go ahead and register them the day before the training. You get an automatic trigger from Infusionsoft in this case to automatically remind you to register them for the training so they're getting the value. When I say the training, I mean if you've got a weekly Q&A call or something like that. Bob, on the other hand, he sends out the first email, and he gets an email to register, and then there's no follow-up. Which vendor do you want to be? Do you want to make sure everyone's in your training, or do you want to make sure that, or do you just want to send it out and set and forget? Who wants to be Bob? Who wants to be Julie? Thank you, thank you. So week 2 of the training, same process. Haven't logged into week 1, and now it's week 2. Just an email on release, an email a few days later for no action. You can say, hey, is everything okay? Who wants that out of, if you're paying for a high ticket membership site, who wants that? Yeah, follow up, accountability. If you keep your customers accountable, then they're going to stay engaged in what they're doing with you much more. An SMS is all okay. Hey, I see it's week 2 and you haven't done week 1 yet. Is everything okay? And they reply and they say, look, I know, I've got to segment this and I've got to start it next Sunday. And then you say, okay, no problems, and you pause the reminders for them. You know, something along those lines. But you get that interaction. You still get to continue the relationship because you ask them that question. Bob, on the other hand, sits back and sends an email on release. Early completion. Now, this is one we were talking about before. If someone finishes early, what do you think you could do? There I am again with my hand in my pocket. An email to congratulate, yeah. Give them a bonus course. Notification to the group. Hey, Bob's finished. Jason, not Julie sends an email out to the group, or puts a post in the Facebook group. Jason's finished early. Congratulations, Jason. What he's going to get is blah blah blah. A little reward, a surprise bonus course. Something like that. Some extra modules for those that finish early, so that they can continue training. Give it to everyone else at the end anyway. But for those people that are finishing a module early, automatically give them something extra. Bob does nothing. He gets a little bit cranky. There's no engagement. So many systems. I use Infusionsoft, Memberium, and LearnDash for membership sites. Okay. LearnDash is good because it's a learning management system. So it has the quizzes and the rewards and all of that sort of thing. Everyone loves to be tested through their progress. Everyone loves to know whether they're doing well enough. Do they have to do more? Are they on par with everyone else? Everyone loves that information. And I get that out of LearnDash. Infusionsoft, Memberium, and LearnDash. The reason why I use this combination is because it all syncs up and links back to Infusionsoft. Anyone takes action, there's a trigger goes off in Infusionsoft. Anyone doesn't take action, there's a trigger goes off in Infusionsoft as well. We trigger every single action, time delays between the actions to automate. So we have, the trigger of when they log in, and then the next trigger might have say a 5-day delay timer between that and the first video. And if 5 days have passed and they haven't completed the first video or the first training module, then we have a follow-up, something like that. Who's ready to get 37% more sales in their business? Okay, half the room. Let me ask that question again. Who's ready to get 37% more sales in the business? Thank you. Follow-up. Now, I know we've gone through this already, but this is a different sort of follow-up. We're going to follow up with an abandoned cart process. Who's got one already? None of us. An abandoned cart follow-up. None of us? Okay, that's good, because we can all implement this if we're selling stuff online to make it better. So if you're serious about increasing your sales, then you absolutely have to have this in your sales process. Abandoned cart sequence, some interesting stats. Abandoned cart average is 69.23%. This is from Baymard.com. 69.23% of people start buying something online and abandon. They stop. So what's that? 31% almost of people are actually getting through your process, and 70% of people aren't getting through the process. 70% of sales are getting left on the table. Who wants to leave 70% of sales on the table? No one, thank you. Abandoned cart sequence can convert up to 23 to 37% more sales automatically. It's a big range, but it depends on your industry as to how much it can increase. Who wants 23% more sales? Yep, thank you. Why people abandon cart? Add-on expenses are too high. 61% of people abandon cart because the add-on expenses are too high. Include delivery. Or, include delivery above a certain range or something like that. Creating an account. If you've got to create an account in the purchase process from your website, do you have to create an account for yours? No, good. 35% of people abandon cart because of creating an account. So don't make people create an account. Have it automatic. Too long or complicated a process. Step 1, put in your details. Step 2, click here to buy. Step 3, do this. If there's any more steps than that, it's too complex. Make sense? Keep your sales process simple and it will be easier. No hidden or added expenses. Add and implement an abandoned cart sequence. You can do it in a couple of ways. A Facebook retargeting pixel, and we might hear about that this afternoon. Yes, we will. Okay, Facebook retargeting pixel and remarket to those people that don't make it to the download page is one way. You can do it in a campaign. So if someone opts in and they don't make it to that sales goal, we have an abandoned cart sequence. Does that make sense? Let's have a look at that. We'll make sure, also we've got to make sure everything is congruent in our sales process. The opt-in page, the sales page, the download page, the ad, everything has to look like you're in the same place, you're in the right place all the way through your process. Does that make sense? Very, very important. So the sequence is 3 emails in an abandoned cart sequence, and I also like to add in 2 SMSs into there. 90% of SMSs are read in the first 3 seconds. We'll come back to that. So we could have a sales page with a pop-up order now. So when someone clicks on the button, they put in their name, email address, and telephone number into here. And then when they click on submit for that, they go through to the order page over here, and we pre-fill the information from their name, from their email address, from their telephone number, all of that stuff into the order form. So we make it easy for them. Okay? They don't have to refill that information, just the extra information. But it means we've got their name, their email address, and their telephone number, so we can continue to follow up with them if they don't make it through to this process. We have a time delay in here, say 45 minutes. If they haven't finished the process in 45 minutes, we send them a follow-up email. Hey, you've left something in your shopping cart, or you haven't finished that order for paintball on the 26th of September. You know, do you still want it? You're going to miss out on the booking if you don't do it. You know, something along the lines of that. Create some urgency in there, and then we can follow up. You can even have more in this process. If someone abandons cart, you could wait a week, and then you could say, hey, you know what? There's a special offer on. You're going to get 15% if you sign up today. You know, and use that in your marketing as well if it's relevant to your business model. At least 3 emails in the process. Of course, if someone finishes the process, they stop getting those emails. If they go through the cart and put their email address in, so if they opt in somewhere, that's enough for us to send them an email. Someone was buying a bag, yep. What shopping cart are you using? WooCommerce. So with WooCommerce, there's an abandoned cart process in there, and you can sync it back through to whatever your autoresponder system as well. And with them, you get them to start creating an account in WooCommerce. And so you capture their name and their email address before they move on to the next stage, and that gives you the ability to process. So, yep. It's implied if someone's putting their email address in about a purchase, it's implied that you have the right to send them on that purchase. Yes. Yep, good question. So, SMS. Who uses SMS in their marketing, in their business? A few of us? Okay, good, good. Email open rates, as we know, average between 20 to 30% if you're doing things well. You know, sometimes a little bit higher than that if you're segmenting your database. SMS messaging, however, is around 98%. Open rate on SMS is around 98%, with 90% of those read in the first 3 seconds. This stat is from smsglobal.com.au. 98% of them are read in the first 3 seconds. Is that better than email? Much better than email, isn't it? We can't replace email with it. We can't send out all of the same sort of information in SMSs, but we can use it to our advantage. Someone doesn't open or click through on your email, you could follow up with an SMS later that day, couldn't you? Hey, you haven't watched this video. I know it's important to you. You know, have you received it? Check your spam or something like that. Yeah? Integrate SMS. Make sure you've got their telephone number. I'll show you a cool way to get their telephone number as well. Would it make sense to use SMS in your communications with those sort of stats? Yes. Hands up again, who is? For all of those who aren't, let's workshop some ways that you can. So the tools, I use Infusionsoft, of course. Every CRM has an SMS system that you can plug into it, though. Plugins, I use, so I can do a HTTP post. It's a technical way to say from Infusionsoft, we send it across to SMS Global or smsbroadcast.com.au. smsbroadcast.com.au is the cheapest SMS service in Australia. Yep. Text integration is the cheapest? Oh, right. Okay. Very good. Very good. Well, there we go. We can compare those notes later. But SMS Broadcast say they're the cheapest SMS service in Australia. We send across a post from Infusionsoft or from our CRM to one of those services and send an SMS. That's the simple version. Another piece of software I use, fully integrated, is Fix Your Funnel. And it's a brilliant way to integrate interactive SMS into the CRM or Infusionsoft. So the timing, when are we going to use it? Welcome. Someone buys something from you, send them an SMS. It'll make them feel warm and fuzzy. Congratulations, make it personal. Engagement or lack of engagement, use it as a tool. When someone's not doing something that we want them to do, follow up with them with an SMS. Follow up on no action, event reminders. Using event reminders in SMS. Made a note. Another thing you can be doing as well is add to calendar buttons, send it out in the confirmation that goes out. So they can add it to their calendar on their phone directly. If you're doing events, really important. And so it goes straight into the calendar, and you can set in the calendar entry reminders for that event in the calendar as well, so it's popping up on their phone when we need it to. Quick tips, like the yoga studio and the osteo. You know, if it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and this is where we're at, send an SMS at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Stand up, you're hunching over at your desk, and remember to do your exercises. Does that make sense? Yep, and just add a little bit of extra value there. And in marketing, I don't use SMS so much in marketing because I find that the results are low. But you can use SMS in your marketing as well if you use it well. You know, for those people that click through, you can send them an SMS. You know, those people that click through about fruit salad, you can send them an SMS about a fruit salad special or something like that. And absolutely when emails aren't working. If someone's not reading your emails, send them an SMS related to it. Or use SMS to get them re-engaged. How many people click through and watch a video on their phones? Yeah, I do it. Probably most of the men in the room do it. Yep. Not excluding ladies, of course, but ladies tend to like to read rather than videos. Encourage engagement. Now remember I said I had 2 free gifts for you in the beginning? Who wants the free gifts? 2 of you? Yeah? Okay, we're going to give you those free gifts as well as demonstrate a process of how we can get people's telephone numbers so that we can SMS them as well. Would that be okay? I don't usually say this, but can everyone take out their mobile phone? Normally I say, put your phones away, they're too distracting. Everyone take out your mobile phone. So the first gift you're going to get is a 21-point business automation check. So 21 things you could be automating in your business right now, and just a report on that. And then you're going to get a free 45-minute automation strategy session with me. If you want that. If it's something you think you need in your business, then you can book in for that, and there's no obligation. And if our business has something that can help your business, then we can help you further than that. Otherwise, I'll just give you advice on things you need to be doing. So how do we get them? Yeah, everyone take out your mobile phone. Have you all got them in your hands? Yeah. I want you to SMS auto to 0488 841 780. Who's done that? What happens? got a response? What's the response say? What did you put in your first name? Go ahead and put it in. Who's put in their first name? Yeah, good. What happened next? Haven't got a response yet. It's coming. Yeah, so you put in the email address. And your phone tells you what your email address is. That's cool. Yeah, yeah. Who's put in their email address? God, you type quick. What happens after that? Look at that, I've replied to everyone while I've been standing up here at the front of the room. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Is that engaging for you to get that interactive process? And you can book straight into your calendar. You can book straight into my calendar, that's right, yeah. So the next step is you can book in for the 45-minute strategy session, all as a part of that process. So is anyone using something similar to this? Yeah? Using something similar? Yep. Yep. So you're using it after they register to send them the report, is that right? Yep. What's working really well right now? Events at the back. What's working well right now in events is click to SMS or SMS, B4B to this number now, and you're capturing their mobile number straight away. So the thing that happens, sometimes when we do it the other way around is people are less likely to give you their telephone number if they are filling in an opt-in form, okay? So if we say SMS, it gives the control back to them. SMS to this number now, what's happening is they're taking the control. Yeah, I'm going to SMS this number. And so they SMS the number, we've got their telephone number straight away. So now we've got the opportunity to call them if they don't complete the process. We've got the opportunity to SMS them if they don't complete the process and get onto that more personal approach. Does that make sense? What tool do I use? It's called Fix Your Funnel. Fix Your Funnel. I know it links with Infusionsoft. I think it also links with something else as well, but I'm not sure in there. But there'll be something else around that can do that as well, absolutely. There's a few other tools as well that can do this also. So if you're millennial, they always want to be messaging on their mobile phone. Or you're using ManyChat as well, which is also quite good, which is Facebook Messenger. You can do similar sorts of things with Facebook Messenger as well. But in this instance, you're sending an SMS rather than asking them to click to do something. So engagement is sometimes a little bit higher. So, any questions about that process? So now I know that everyone that filled that out, I've got your mobile number, so I can send you a follow-up if I need to. Hey, you haven't booked in for the strategy session, do you want it? Question mark. And then if someone replies and says no, I can automatically segment to no longer receive anything. Does that make sense? And get engagement. So the last thing, of the 5 things that you can implement right now, and this is probably one of the most important things to think about in saving you time, is simple process automation solutions in your business. So, the first one is do what you say you'll do. Does anyone have a collection of business cards from this event? No? Does anyone go to networking sessions and collect business cards to follow up with people afterwards? Yep. Cool, thank you. Follow up with people when you say you're going to. So there's this cool feature in Infusionsoft, and I know there's many other CRMs that have the same thing as well. I haven't got my phone up here, but you can scan someone's business card. You literally just scan their business card while you're at the event. Scan them, you have a sequence set up already. So you scan someone's business card, and there's someone in the Philippines that gets the copy of the business card for Infusionsoft, and they go through and they type in the details. because an automatic bot isn't getting the right information off there. So they type in the details, and then they click submit, and then you get an alert that comes back and says, please double check. And you get a copy of the image and a copy of their details, and then you say yes, and then it says, what action would you like to take? And I say, tag them into Stephen Dixon's event. And then automatically I've got set up that there's an email, hey, great to connect with you at the Breakthrough for Business event. As we discussed, here's the 21-point report. And if you want to discuss automation, click book in for a 45-minute strategy session. All in an email that looks like I've typed it. Does that make sense? Automatically. How many times do you take those business cards and not follow up with people? All the time? Yeah, just set up a little automatic process so that follow-up can happen straight away. Or sending that first connection email. Do you do this? You do. All automated. Good. Good. See how powerful that can be? How many times do we go and we say we're going to do something and then we don't do it, and then we think, oh, we should email them 2 weeks later, and we email them and we don't get a reply because it's kind of like, I connected, I can't remember what we'd even discussed. You know what I mean? Post-event networking, connections, lost leads, lost business. Especially if these are potential customers for you, you want to be getting onto that straight away. Structure. Create the structure first, write it like you're writing an email to a lead, then get them into a nurture series afterwards, if that's relevant. I have 2 tags. One is putting people into the 21-point report. One is, hey, great to connect. Let's, say I was talking to a speaker or something like that, and we connected that way. I don't want to send them my 21-point report. I just want to connect with them. Maybe we can, work on an event together or something like that in the future. So I have 2 different funnels, 2 different tags, so that I can segment them there and then and send them the right message. Does that make sense? Have the conversations knowing what's coming. So if you're talking to someone at the event and you've got a 21-point report and you say, hey, I'm going to send you my 21-point report, would that be okay? And they say yes, and then you tag them in the 21-point report version of the message so that they're getting exactly what you said you were going to do, and they're going to get it almost instantly, a couple of hours after they gave you the card because you've scanned it straight away. Powerful? Yeah, it's just easy, really, as well as being powerful. So for other areas in your business, we can do similar sorts of things. How many times do you ring someone and leave a voicemail message? Anyone got a sales team? Yeah, a few of us. You ring, you leave a voicemail message. Do you follow up and send an SMS after that? Hey, just left a message for you about your paintball, but haven't heard back from you. Give me a call. And then do you send a follow-up email as well? Yeah. Do you do that automatically? Yep. So there's a little bit of automation in there, and you're probably more advanced than most of the other people in the room here. But what you can do is you can set up a little campaign, apply a note or a trigger or a tag or something like that. Left voicemail. We send an email automatically. Hey, just left a voicemail for you. I actually do it in a form, so I can write in there what the voicemail was about. Just left a voicemail for you about booking your paintball. And you can put in the date in there, booking your paintball on such and such date, or whatever it is that it's about. We insert that into the email. So the email goes out automatically. And then 5 minutes later, we send it off to our SMS service, and we do the same thing. And we send it to the customer from our telephone number, so that they get an SMS. Same thing. Just left a voicemail message with you about booking on such and such a date. Blah 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 blah. And it's a generic SMS. We just insert the relevant bits into the SMS. Yep. And then what I also do, there's an extra step in there. When you send from an SMS service, it doesn't go to your phone. So I send myself an SMS from the customer's telephone number, and it says, you just sent this to the customer. So I put, you just sent this, : and then the rest of the message in there, so that when they reply, I know what they're talking about. I was going to swear then, but I know what on earth is going on. Make sense? So then, or then your sales rep knows what's going on. This all happens automatically. Sends them an SMS to say you just sent this to the customer because they just left a voicemail and went through that process. And then when someone replies, it's like, I don't know what I'm talking about here, or yeah, I do know what I'm talking about, and then reply to that. Staff tasks. This is a cool one. How many times do you have repetitive staff tasks? One of them I had in my business was paying affiliates. So on the 15th of every month, we need to pay the affiliates, and there's a process involved in that. And the 15th of every month would come along, and there'd be a calendar entry, a calendar invite, and it'd still get forgotten. So we set up a campaign. We put the staff member into it so that it's a monthly loop, a monthly reminder. This is what you need to do. This is how you do it. Click here when it's done. If it doesn't get clicked through to be done, then I get a reminder to say, hey, this is not done. Follow up with the staff member. Does that make sense? It's a very simple little process that we can do to number one, make sure stuff is getting done. But number two, if a staff member leaves and everything's in their calendar and we delete their calendar, what happens then? Unless you've got John's processes all in place, what happens then? Oh, I don't even know what Christy does in my business. Well, I do know, but if I had to train someone in that again, it would take me months. Can I just add the new person into the campaign and in the campaign it's got the little video, the little process, and then at very least it's a prompt for them to ask me how to do this process even further. Does that make sense? Yep, save you a lot of time. Follow up with every lead. If you've got the mobile number now, if someone doesn't convert into a customer and you've gone through that 5 to 7 interactions automatically, get yourself a task, an automatic task to give them a call and say, hey, you opted in for this. I see you've watched video 1, 2, and 3, but you haven't purchased the product. Is there any reason for that? Can I help you? Is it not right for you? Can I help you with the process? Is this bag not right for you? Do you need a bigger one or a smaller one? You could have that conversation with every single person if you've implemented a system to get their telephone number. Wow your customers. Who's wowing their customers after they purchase? One person. How do you wow them? Barbecue pack afterwards? Yep. Cool. So they're buying investment properties. So you wow them then, which is cool. It's fairly easy to wow them at that point in time. What about if in a month's time or 3 months' time or 6 months' time, you set up an automatic reminder to prompt you to give them a market report in 6 months' time? Brilliant, brilliant. 12-month report, something like that, something regular and relevant to them, just wows them a little bit more. Anyone else wowing? What about you guys at paintball? I'm going to pick on you here. Huh. Yep. Yep. Follow-up wow. Do you take photos of them on the day? Yep. Yeah, and even follow up with them 3 months later or something like that. Hey, because this happened, or because you came along the last time, you're going to get 10% discount on the next one. Rebooking. You could automate that process. The other really cool thing you could be doing is a feedback campaign, feedback and referral campaign. The day after they've had the paintball, exclude anyone that got injured, of course. But the day after they've had the paintball, or although if you look after the injuries well enough, you can keep it in there as well. Ask them for feedback, send them an email or an SMS asking them for feedback. Every single person that was there, not just the person that booked it. I don't mind about the disclaimer being right. Okay, everyone else is doing the disclaimer. So I use something called Fuse Docs. Syncs the two together, but there's all of these document. You can use Adobe Sign and that sort of thing and extract the information out of there with Zapier, and get their information in. Which one? Imo. Never heard of it. Okay. Very good, very good. But yeah, as part of that, that information, if you capture it online, then you can easily follow up with them the next day and get their feedback. Everyone who gives a promoter's feedback, so promoters, neutral or detractors, the detractors you call straight away to see why they're not happy. Everyone who's neutral or a promoter, you get them into a campaign where they can refer 3 friends and then get a discount coupon. Automatic plugin for Google reviews that sets to 5 stars. I've had some feedback about that, and some of the message that customers are getting is they're not happy about it being automatically set to 5 stars, but give it a go. Absolutely give it a go. The thing with that is it just gets the feedback out there, whereas what we kind of want to have is the feedback, and then we want to get that referral in there as well. So sending it out to some of their friends. And I've turned that off. Follow-up calls, automate the follow-up call process, follow-up SMSs, all of this stuff in your business can be automated. You've just got to think outside the box. I just want to finish up with one little thing here. So remember this from yesterday? How much of that process do you think we can automate? All of it? No, maybe not all of it. We can't automate the visit and the repair, but we can automate the steps in between. Maybe an email to the customer, an email to make the booking, the booking process, all of that sort of stuff could be automated, couldn't it? When someone pays their deposit, you ask them to automatically go off and book into your calendar so that they can book in the time that's convenient. With reason, of course, book into the calendar, and then that calendar date goes into the campaign, so there's a reminder that gets set up straight after that calendar date to process the rest of the payments, whether it's a reminder or whether it's an automatic process of the balance. Something like that we can do, and we can take this process and then automate whatever we can and then improve it from there as well. There's so many things, and we've just touched on sort of the surface, the minimum that you can do, and some ideas about the best things that you need to do or should be implementing in your business right now. There's some more in that 21-point report, so if you haven't opted in for it, absolutely opt in for it. No obligation there whatsoever. And thank you. I'm Jason Buckner, and I hope I've helped you automate your business a bit more.